The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Racism is ugly, and it has many faces. When I started this channel, I wanted to create a show that talked about pop culture in a fun way. I wanted to let the audience in on my own discussions with friends, and make the audience a friend as well. That happened. It worked. That was also in 2015, before the world collectively shit the bed. This is 2020, part 2, and the world has devolved. It's different. Up is down, black is white, and entertainment isn't entertaining. It's become something to lament instead of something to celebrate, because it's just that bad. And it's sad, but it happens, because the people in charge don't care about quality, they just see dollar signs. Those people are bad at managing entertainment companies. Outside of pop culture, people are bigger assholes than ever too. This is where today's story begins. The name Star Wars brings with it many things: joy, excitement, memories, friends, family, fun. Today, that same name, Star Wars, brings with it talks of sexism, hatred, and racism. What was once a fun romp into a galaxy far, far away has become a cesspool of identity politics and ram-jam-ram. No, not today. The newest entry into the Disney Star Wars universe, the High Republic, is here, and yay! That's about as much hype as I can muster up. Fans who have been burned by Disney Star Wars for the last few years aren't biting this time. We, and yes, I'm including myself here, are tired of the half-assing, the stopgap measures, and the High Republic is going over like a wet fart in church. It dropped to number 4 on the New York Times BS list, the comics are being ripped apart, that creepy Chinese government-approved Star Wars book exists, and now racial tensions are tipping the scales. What a great way to start a Star Wars multimedia campaign. Imagine if George Lucas did that in 1996 with Shadows of the Empire. How out of place would that be? The answer? Very. I miss the days when talking about Star Wars meant laughing at all the unsold Rose Tico dolls and kicking them down. Today, it's become something different, something much uglier. A few weeks back, we started discussing the High Republic. Since the beginning, Star Wars The High Republic has been embroiled in racist rhetoric. Let's get a quick reminder. Star Wars The High Republic author Justina Ireland took to Twitter to tell Star Wars fans not to purchase The High Republic. Ireland telling Star Wars fans not to purchase The High Republic comes after she recently bashed white men. Earlier this week, she took to Twitter where she wrote, "I guess mediocre white men are still going to be on here bragging about their mediocrity as though it's a hilarious anecdote instead of pure assholery, so thanks for establishing that baseline early 2021. In a follow-up, she added, "Imagine writing a 20-tweet thread about outsmarting your 9-year-old. What a waste of perfectly good carbon." Since then, it's gotten a lot uglier. Before we dive into the new topic, I want to address something. You've heard me use the phrase, "I'm not white," but discriminating against someone because of the color of their skin is wrong. I stand by this, strongly. I don't like when people blame white people for their problems. I don't like when people blame black people for their problems. I don't like when anyone blames their problems on race. A person's problems are a person's problems, and a lot of times, it's them projecting their own insecurities and failures onto a whole group of people. I don't quote him often, but every time I see racist rhetoric like that coming from Disney Star Wars, I'm reminded of Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech, where he says a person should not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I think it's incredibly fair to judge a person by their actions instead of their skin color. Good is good. Bad is bad. Who cares what color people are? I don't. With that being said, everything from here on out on this topic, including the people, is based on the content of their characters, not the color of their skin. But be warned, this isn't going to be nice. The anti-fan rhetoric coming from the High Republic was nothing new. We've been here many times before. Rian Johnson, when he's not taking potshots at Luke Skywalker, was caught questioning the fans' intelligence, aka calling them stupid for not liking his bad film Star Wars The Last Jedi. Chuck Wendig did similar things to fans, but he was also fired. Since Disney took over Star Wars, it wasn't uncommon to be called an asshole by someone officially associated with the company. In a way, it was a badge of honor. Today's tale features a title no one once pinned on them: racist. There are two sides to every story, and this one is no different. But unlike most great stories, there isn't a hero here. Just a series of assholes doing bad things and even bigger assholes justifying bad things. No one's a winner here, in every sense of the word, but the people most hurt by all of this is us, the audience. So the other day an article popped up talking about how the host of the High Republic's new web show was calling white people racist. This was the expression on my face. As I wasn't surprised, I figured I should look a little deeper into this train wreck. As first reported by Ichibaka, who is the master of compiling all this dumb shit associated with Disney Star Wars over on his blog, Disney Star Wars is Dumb, these tweets from the host of the High Republic show, Christina Ariel, popped up, and they're sad. host of the High Republic show, has lots of lectures for white people. Our continuing journey through the sick company culture of hatred for white people within the hallowed halls of Lucasfilm continues with a look at the new host of the High Republic show, Christina Ariel. We're going to look at some of these tweets, but this is a little too ugly to associate with my usual music, so let's go for something a little more thematically appropriate, shall we? That's good and depressing, isn't it? As I showed at the beginning of this video, the sentiment is nothing new from those associated with the High Republic. I'm a firm believer in letting a person speak for themselves. Christina Ariel spoke for herself. Those tweets were her words, and I listened. We all listened. Now, it's our turn to speak. I don't need to dogpile on this woman. Hell, Christina Ariel isn't even the true main topic of this video yet. Hold on, we'll be there in a moment. I don't like the anti-white sentiment that the internet is normalizing these days. It's literal bigotry. By definition, bigotry is obstinate or unreasonable attachment to belief, opinion, or fact, in particular, prejudice against a person or people on the basis of their membership to a particular group. That's what I'm seeing in these tweets, and that's fucked up. It feels good to get to this point in the video and I can finally say that. One more time now. Shit. I flew too close to the sun. What I saw in those tweets was bigotry, and no matter the skin color of the group you're targeting, it's wrong, and I don't respect the people who engage in that behavior. I'll give anyone a chance. Cool people come in all shapes and colors. But when you post crap like this online, I don't want to know you. Change white to any other skin color and see how that flies. Spoiler alert, it won't. It won't and it shouldn't, because it's wrong. It's just as wrong to say the same shitty things about white people too. At the end of the day, people are just people. Get over your bullshit and see how great the world can be if you help it instead of hurt it. It used to be that geek culture was a safe haven from all this bullshit. Now, it's birthed here. When you look up Star Wars fans on Google, you only need to get to the third picture to see non-white Star Wars fans. Hell, most of the people in the first two photos are covered by costume. You don't know what they look like. What I'm getting at is, this was a mistake. Instead of looking at the Star Wars fanbase and going, wow, look how vast it is, they went, diversity sells. How can we break Star Wars down into subgroups based on race and sell to those people? And yes, they said those people. Everyone is a dollar sign to Disney, and that's the right attitude. They make stuff for everybody, because they want everybody to buy their stuff. It's great when everyone is your audience, ideal even, but that also means you should be careful not to officially endorse any sort of behavior that divides the audience based on race. Lucasfilm did not, and now they have a problem on their hands that they shouldn't have taken on in the first place. After the initial story about Christina Ariel's tweets broke, another tweet from the official Star Wars Twitter popped up in support of Christina Ariel. This is our story. Now call me old-fashioned, but I remember a time when Star Wars didn't put itself in this company, before Disney. Now, nearly a decade in Disney's stable of properties it bought instead of created, Star Wars has revealed itself to be the enemy of its fan base. This goes deeper than any bad movie, TV show, comic book, novel, or video game. This is an ideology that serves no good. From the outside, sure, this looks great. This is great for the headlines. Racist fans attack Star Wars host, cries a certain portion of the internet. Star Wars responds with, our Star Wars community is one of hope and inclusivity. We do not stand for bullying and racism. We support Christina Ariel. That's cool, but do you promote her views? Her views are pretty extreme, and they don't promote the inclusivity you claim to. Those bigoted statements promote racial division, and in some cases, hate. What's going to happen when those headlines read, Star Wars supports hate speech against white people? What's that statement going to say? We jumped the gun and didn't look further into the situation. We just virtue signaled. Hashtag sorry, bro. No, they're gonna stay quiet, like they should have here. The hiring practices at Lucasfilm seriously need to be called into question. If within 2 weeks of the High Republic's launch, we're seeing this bigotry from multiple people within the company. People in the real world have their social media accounts vetted by companies before they're hired. It's commonplace. Either that didn't happen here, or the more likely the situation is that it did happen, they saw it, and they were cool with her ideology. It's a scary ideology too, and it's even scarier that Disney supports it. Is this really the foot they want to put forward with Star Wars: The High Republic? The controversy around this project keeps coming. It was a choice to hire those involved with the High Republic. Are they qualified for their job? Who am I to say? I firmly believe in letting the audience decide. All of the audience. The black voices, and the white voices too. Equally. If you're fortunate enough to have an audience, why go out of your way to lose it? That's what's happening here. Disney. Every time people infuse their politics into their entertainment, they're sure to lose about half of their audience. Every time you infuse bigotry, you lose the rest. The people involved with the High Republic, they're a lost cause. But the Star Wars brand is not. Kathleen Kennedy, get your house in order. All you're doing is killing your audience. You willingly told millions to take a flying leap when they didn't like your bullshit attempt at Star Wars movies, and now you're telling the rest that Star Wars rightly stands against racism and bullying, but fully backs bigotry. This is what happens when identity politics take precedence over quality. The environment to allow Star Wars to proudly back bigotry was created a long time ago, but right here in our galaxy. It's a modern problem that requires an antiquated solution. Common sense. Common sense dictates that if people want to work in the public sphere, their social media history is going to come up. It's not something exclusive to her. It happens to everyone. Before anyone asks, yes, I've looked into the messages she's getting in response to her bigoted comments, and no, that does not excuse the shit people are saying to her. It's just as wrong. And two wrongs don't make a right. That's directed at Christina Ariel as well. Making everything about race and then being surprised about the response is disingenuous. Saying all people from any group are evil is dangerous rhetoric that has proven to be deadly in the past. You'd think we would have learned. That's not the case here. Instead of trying to right the wrongs in society, fingers just get pointed and blame shifted. Stop. Nip that shit in the bud. Now folks, I find this incredibly important to add at the end of this video. Do not harass this woman. Don't message her, don't talk about her, hell, don't even think about her. If I may, I strongly suggest we take the advice of the other High Republic creator who brought up race last week, Justina Ireland, and just ignore her work. Don't watch the High Republic show. You want to send Disney a message stronger than any well-meaning but ultimately useless tweet? Don't watch their show. When the High Republic dies like Star Wars Resistance, Star Wars Galaxy of Adventure, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, Star Wars Forces of Diversity, or any other Kathleen Kennedy's acidine greenlit projects, the message will be clear. We don't like our Star Wars with a side of race-baity bigotry. It sounds stupid, but take the high road on this one, folks. Let this bigoted bullshit fizzle out and die quickly on its own. We don't need to tell these ladies what we think of them, just their work. We have the high ground, and we know what happens when they underestimate our power.